Hi and welcome to How to Use CAD. For today's tutorial we're going to take a look at how a simple garage conversion project can have a huge impact on a family home by helping to create extremely desirable living space whilst adding real value in the process. So stay with me and find out why thousands of homeowners are converting their garages to all sorts of living space. A lovely simple project. This is the property in question. We take a look. As you can see, there's a massive slope on this particular road. A lot of the properties here had subsidence. This one did have, and they spent about £50,000-60,000 doing repairs. But the lady of the house was looking at converting this garage, and she wanted to know if it was possible and how it would interact, or what I could do with it. So I went along and had a look. These are the existing plans, existing elevation plans at the front. As you can see, you've got a second floor, or a basement floor on this side of the property, and this is again this is what it ended up, which is all pretty boring, pretty dull, but that's exactly what they were after. So normally what I'd like to do is I'd like to use a similar roof rather than having just a basic flat roof like that, which I don't think was particularly in keeping. What I'd like to have done was to do a pitched roof, pitched forward and pitched sideways, which would be which I think would look absolutely gorgeous. But again, the client wasn't after that. Also, we could have done an apex roof, pitch in the middle going that way, and do a valley gutter here, etc. But again, at the end of the day, the client didn't want to do it. So it's all very well what I suggest, or what you as a designer will suggest to your client, but do make the suggestions, but obviously the client will then decide, and even if it's the worst choice, you've got to go with it. So this was a planning application because it's in a conservation area, and we didn't seek to do anything outrageous. Let's have a look at the interior layout. So that's your garage with your folding door, or your standard garage door, entrance hall. So big old house, big reception on the left, straight in, got a decent porch. So the house had lots going with it, but it had a dining room here. And again, you had to go out of the dining room into the hallway, into the kitchen, so not very well laid out. Built in the 60s, let's have a look. Yeah, built in the 50s or the 60s, Georgian style with the pitched roof and the windows. But the layout sucks, I'm afraid. Elderly couple, been there for 30-40 years. And this is what they had. They had a kitchen, a little tiny breakfast room. So, and of course, as sometimes is the case, they had only recently spent about £30,000 on a new kitchen, and they upgraded the kitchen without considering upgrading or changing the layout. And of course, it was a beautiful opportunity to do that, but they didn't. Anyway, that's the existing layout. So this is what I offered up. Now, I did want to integrate the dining room into the kitchen, but they said no. They really didn't want to disturb the dining room, and I think that was a massive mistake, because they had the opportunity to open up this wall here and make it all flow, as this section of the house would have been, kitchen, dining, utility, larder possibly. But no, they didn't want. They wanted a breakfast room here. I guess they're at an age, I suppose, when their formal dining days are coming to a close. The family, the kids are grown up, they're all gone. Occasionally having people over for dinner, but not enough to make it worthwhile to rejig the kitchen and change all this layout. Because, you have to take up floors and get everything redone and so on. They just didn't want to do it, so they kept their breakfast room. So what I was looking to do then was, because they wouldn't change or take out walls, what I was looking was to kind of modernize this area. So take out the window and the little doorway, which was byproduct of 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Putting in a big glazed floor to ceiling panel here and putting in a few bifolds. Bifolds, what the width? Yeah, about 2.3 meters wide. That would have been great because there was a big patio area out here. Different levels, as you can imagine, because the house goes downhill in this direction. But what they opted for in the end was, so what they opted, they went for this, and what that meant was taking out a bit of wall here, that bit of structural wall, which originally would have been part of the house, because this wasn't there, and the garage was just a little bit of add-on on the side. So I took this bit out by opening up, and as you can see, all I had to do for the garage was to make a small door opening and close up, get rid of the door, brick up, block up, and put a new window in. So it was really a very simple project. And then when we looked to the side, in the garage, buried amongst all the junk and so on, I found there was a little window there which we upgraded also. So generally speaking, we could have done loads more, but at the end of the day, it's an elderly couple who basically wanted to use it as a utility area and use the garage as a utility. And by doing so, they were able to take, appliances out, create loads of storage and so on. In the front half, this was another idea of ours, because they had so much garage and they only wanted to use it towards utility. I suggested making a larder out of the front section so that we could get some food storage going, a few more appliances, and they went for that. Yes, that was a good idea. But otherwise, it was whilst it was dull and was boring, it allowed them to have a far better use of the kitchen, and by opening up here towards the back, they had a much more attractive breakfast room. Having said that, I'd still want to remove this wall and find a different way of integrating all of the kitchen dining together. But at the end of the day, client is boss. So the aim of the lesson, the tutorial, is to show you how a simple garage conversion can, enhance or upgrade any particular property. And of course, the garages are great, way more useful as a living space than it would be as a garage with full up with junk. And that's the reason why most people, or many people, are actually converting their garages into usable living space, because it's way cheaper than an extension. An extension on this property, that kind of size, would have been £50,000 to £70,000, whereas this kind of garage conversion would have been 10 to 15. So it's a much better deal. Right, so hopefully you got some value out of this short lesson on garage conversions. And you'll be able to put it to good use as you pursue your career as an architect or architectural technician. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video.